boop, boop. Hello, everybody, and thank you again for joining me for Astrology in the News. And of course, tonight is Oscar night, which I said I readily don't give a shit about yesterday. But hey, it's a good excuse to do some people's charts. So let's get to it, right? First of all, yogic wisdom of the day was brought to you by the great and horny Osho. Never belong to a crowd. Never belong to a nation. Never belong to a religion. Never belong to a race. Belong to the whole of existence. Why limit yourself to small things when the whole is available? Never belong to LuLaRoe. Profit is small and you will never see a whole paycheck because it's a scam. It's a multi-level marketing thing going on. However, I probably failed because maybe I was selling to the wrong demographic. That's okay. I guess a lot of men don't buy a LuLaRoe, so shame on me. Anyway, Denzel Washington is up for best actor today. I don't know if he won yet. The Oscars is still going on at the point of this broadcast. I think they only got to Best Actress. So anyway, Denzel Washington, very dynamic chart. I tell you, man, first time he whooped the competition. He whooped them good. Oh shit. That's because he was in glory. Anyway, so let's take a look at his chart. Let's see. Yes, we do have a birth time for him. So he was actually born as a Virgo ascendant. Pretty interesting. Makes somebody very hardworking. Denzel had to work hard for what he has. This is a pretty much a self-made man when we're looking at his chart. So second house, Venus is there, Saturn is there. Saturn is actually exalted in the sign of Libra. So that's very good, especially in money. So any money that he made, like I said, you worked very hard for it. And Venus is in there. So you have two planets. One is exalted and one is in its own sign. So it's just barely in there. So Venus is almost out of the sign, but you know what? We're going to give it there anyway because it's the conjunction. But Saturn, exalted, okay? Very good placement. Sun, Mercury in the north node of the moon in the sign of Sagittarius, man of justice, man that believes in social justice, really a philanthropist too. I think Denzel gives a lot of his money away, or at least he's involved in a lot of philanthropic work. The one thing about Sagittarians is they can be very black or white thinking, right? It's either this way or it's my way or the highway. So keep that in mind. Now, this is a fourth house. So this comes into the area of home, right? So this man rules the house. If you don't agree with him, you're out of there. Moon in the fifth house, great for kids, good relationship with the mother. Mars in the sixth house in the sign of Aquarius definitely can rack up debts, a little bit of overspending. I don't think per se he's had any trouble with the IRS, but that's something he needs to be careful. Now he's in his Saturn Dasha, which started in 2001, right? So this is very good. This is great for money. This is really the prime of Denzel's life where he's going to be working hard, bringing in cash, and then he's going to go into that Mercury Dasha, and that's going to be in the fourth house and he's going to be able to enjoy it. Okay, so everything he's earned, it's going to pay off well for him. All right. Next, we have Sally Hawkins up for Best Actress, and this is for The Shape of Water, where she falls in love with Aquaman. I think that's where it is. It's some sort of fish motherfucker, and she does some stuff with the fish or something like that. But I took a look at her chart, right? Very fascinating. I do not have her birth time. However, running her chart from noon on the day that she was born puts Venus a couple degrees away from its sign of exaltation. And I'll tell you what, she's in her Sun Venus Dasha. And also her Venus is working its way through Pisces. So I think she's going to win Best Actress tonight. That is something that we're going to have to keep an eye on. I don't think it's been announced yet, but when I saw this, this is really how you can make a solid prediction in Vedic astrology. Also, too, look at her Venus. It's Vargotama, right? Venus is exalted exactly at 28 degrees of Virgo. So even if this is off one way or another, this is the perfect example of somebody who has an exalted Venus. It's very, very powerful. It's also conjunct the moon. There's a lot of emotions. She puts a lot of emotion interacting, and with Venus going into this house, I think she's gonna win. All right. So moving on, we have Margot Robbie is up for Best Actress, and I believe this is for I, Tanya. And of course, they could have used Tanya's skills in Korea. You know, chop, chop. I mean, look at that medal count, man. This is terrible. They should have kneecapped some Germans and Norwegians. I think actually the Norwegians won, but heck, we did not. That is for sure. bad USA. Let's take a look at her chart here. So also too, do not have a birth time. So going from the moon now, her Venus is well placed too. It's well placed in the sign of Taurus, which is really the sign of art, beauty, actors, dancing, performance, real estate. Mercury is well placed too in the sign of Gemini, conjunct Jupiter. So in the sun. So if she doesn't do well in this in acting, she could go into broadcasting. Okay, so definitely this is Gemini is a sign of broadcasting, and when Mercury's there, it gives somebody the ability to really be on live TV and do a very good job with it. So, oh hey, look, I was kicked offline. Eh, all right.